Hello, everybody. This is Martha Hines with Living the One Light. So today I want to talk about a theme that I'm feeling very strongly in my own life, and that is very strong in the current transits, specifically in the many highlighted events happening in the sign of Aries right now, among other things. So this theme, first I'll name the theme and then I'll get into the astrology of how that is showing itself to me. But the theme that I'm feeling is this repeated message I keep getting in my own self, my own psyche, and also in my praying, which is this message of the sacred no, the sacred yes, and the gentleness of relationship. So this has many layers and feels really important, not only right now, but actually as we even move into the next couple of years, because these themes are really alive in this moment as we are having a lot happening in the sign of Aries, and I'll go more into that in a second. But then we also are going to be having the North Node moving into Aries and the South Node in Libra coming up in July of 2023. So I'm making this video on March 13th, 2023, but these themes are, I think, going to be really highlighted and alive for quite a while. Okay, so in terms of what's happening in this immediate moment, we just have been having a conjunction, and it's still, the energy of it is still very much here, a conjunction in Aries of Jupiter, Chiron, Vesta, and Estrella. And so, there's so many different components of this, so many different aspects to all of it. What's really, sorry, then I'll insert there the other astrological things so you can follow this train of thought. Okay, so right now on March 12th, yesterday, we had this conjunction of Jupiter and Chiron, but also in there is Vesta and Estrella. Vesta in particular is really calling to me with this, and I'll say more about that in a second. Then we have two new moons coming up in Aries, one at 0 degrees of Aries, the very beginning of Aries, right the day after the equinox, and 2 days before Pluto moves into Aquarius on March 23rd. So we have the equinox on March 20th. We have this new moon at 0 degrees of Aries on March 21st. And then we have Pluto entering Aquarius on March 23rd. That's like a whole set of very strong energies, in particular that Pluto moving into Aquarius, right? 4 days in a row. And and then a couple weeks later, we're going to have the full moon in Libra, which will be at the same part of Aries and Libra where the Jupiter Chiron conjunction is happening. So the Chiron Jupiter conjunction is happening at 14 degrees of Aries. The full moon in Libra will be at 16 degrees of Libra with the sun at 16 degrees of Aries. So very, again, sort of the middle part of Aries. And then we'll have a new moon eclipse at 29 degrees of Aries. So we have these two new moons at either bookend. They're kind of bookending the sign of Aries. But we have, before those new moons, we're having this conjunction of Jupiter and Chiron and Vesta and Estrella in the middle of Aries, And then of course the full moon will also be right at the middle degrees of Libra and Aries. So it's like this whole conglomeration, this whole configuration of the entire sign of Aries really being activated for the next many weeks. And then, like I said, in July, the north node of the moon will enter Aries, starting with 29 degrees of Aries, because the nodes move backwards. So the point where the new moon eclipse is going to be happening in April will be the first point to be hit with the north node in Aries. And when the nodes are switching signs, Pluto will be exactly squaring the nodes. Really, Pluto is already now I've been feeling the energy of Pluto squaring the nodes for a while, but it's definitely getting there now. But it will be exact the same week in July that the nodes of the moon switch signs. So so this whole Libra Aries dynamic is being so highlighted. And the two components in there that feel the most like there's the most juice there, I want to say, or the potential for healing and growth, to put a positive spin on it, are this presence of the Chiron energy in the middle of Aries, and then the Pluto squaring the nodes. Both kind of, to me, have this energy of asking or suggesting to us, or waking up in us, okay, what is it that we are going to do with this need to balance Aries and Libra? How are we going to know where our growing edge is, or our need to heal, or our need to name a wound, or our need to clear what's been there that hasn't been working or isn't working? So we, if we just had the nodes sitting there in Aries and Libra, or these new moons in Aries and the full moon in Libra, certainly the energies of Aries and Libra would be getting highlighted. They certainly would be, we would notice they exist. Okay. But when we have Chiron there in the middle of Aries with Jupiter conjunct and Vesta conjunct that Chiron, and then also when we have Pluto squaring the nodes of the moon as the nodes switch into Aries and Libra, both of those in their own way take it from an experience of us just maybe noticing that there's a highlighting of these energies, to us suddenly maybe somehow feeling on this deep, undeniable level in us, something has to change. Something is changing. And it suddenly makes it very personal, very compelling. Like there's just no other option. We are here on the planet to be maybe holding space for healing, to be promoting healing, et cetera, but especially the Chiron, but the Pluto too, makes it suddenly very personal, and makes it really clear that healing is not just for the planet, it's also in me and in you, and kind of hard to get away from that. Not in a bad sense, actually in a good sense, in the sense of it's a whole lot easier to help others heal. And of course, I'm speaking here for myself, right? In case that's not obvious, to be very transparent. I'll speak for myself. It's a whole lot easier for me. It's very relatively very easy for me to hold space for others to heal, for the world to heal. I mean, a lot of the work I do and a lot of work I'm doing and planning for this year is I'm literally going to be holding space in a symposium that I held last summer, and I'm going to be holding again this summer, called Rebecoming the One, where the whole purpose of this symposium is holding space for conversations around the healing of our relationships to gender and sexuality. So that's absolutely my role, my calling, part of what I'm here to be doing on the planet. And that's great. And lots of us have that kind of calling where we absolutely are holding space for that kind of healing in others, either one-on-one or in groups or for the world or whatever it is. Very true. Absolutely wonderful. And that Chiron energy, which is very alive right now, so I'm really feeling it right now, just like cuts right through that and goes, boop. Here you are, human. You are human. And that healing, it's a parallel process. The healing needs to happen in you, in your life, in your own relationships, and the world. And that Chiron energy of us as the wounded healer is a reminder that we our own healing, of course, is part of the healing of the collective, to put it in the most cliche but true way. Yeah, and then the Pluto energy similarly, is I'm not personally feeling that as powerfully right this second, but that will, I'm guessing, going to ramp up over the next weeks and months. And that to me is more about, it goes along with that Chiron energy of, when we feel a pain or we feel a wound in us that is helping us to move along in our own healing and evolutionary journey that we're here to be doing. Pluto is kind of the ultimate deep version of that we are here to be continuously transforming. And that relationship between Chiron and Pluto is just a whole topic that I'm personally feeling into on a deep level. And I'm sure I will say more about and feel into more, and I would love your thoughts on. So, okay, to come back to my original point, which is the main message I keep getting in my prayers over and over and over again is this message of the sacred no, the sacred yes, and gentleness in relationships. So I'm going to go more into this in my Soul Wisdom Gathering happening this Wednesday, March 15th, 10 a.m. Pacific. It will be recorded, and that will be a channeled version going into this whole Chiron healing, Aries, Libra energy. I'm not sure exactly what's going to come through in that, but you're very welcome to be there. And if you can't be there live, you absolutely can have the recording. So I'll put the link for that in with this video. It's free for everybody in my membership, and you can join the membership for $22 a month and have the recording indefinitely for free for that. And all of my monthly, I do these Soul Wisdom gatherings once a month. So that's going to be the theme of this month's gathering, is going to be this Chiron healing, Aries and Libra energy. And the spirit world is going to channel and guide us into whatever it is they have planned, whatever that is. Okay, so I'll be going more into depth into this at that gathering, but on a basic level, the Aries energy, among other things, can really be a support and a reminder for us of our own needs, our own being, that spark of fire, of the spark of existence that is us. And it can be a reminder of being true to that, whatever that is. With Vesta conjunct Jupiter and Chiron in Aries, that suddenly brings in this element for me of Vesta, the temple keeper, the keeper of the flame in the sacred temple that is us. So Aries is that spark of light, that spark of life that is us, the spark of the divine, the spark of source that is us. And one way I feel Vesta in Aries is similar to Virgo being related to ourselves as the temple. Vesta also is very, very often associated with Virgo and is very much to me about Vesta in general is also about ourselves as the keeper of our own temple and our own inner flame. So Vesta in Aries to me has to do a lot with ourselves as the keeper of the temple that has, that's just like that inner flame is extra extra highlighted. And Vesta in Aries is really honoring of that inner flame that is us, and honoring of our own needs, and the sacred, that's where the sacred yes and the sacred no come in, because Vesta in Aries, I feel, is able to hold that space, hold that sovereignty, hold that reality that there is a sacred yes and there is a sacred no for us in any moment, for everything. So a lot of this Aries energy right now to me is really supporting us to come into the sacred yes and the sacred no in ourselves. And then Aries is balanced with Libra. So in this time, but also especially when the nodes move into Aries and Libra, for me, the nodes are about, and any polarity, which includes full moons, right? So on a full moon, the moon is in one sign, the sun is in the opposing sign, and that's a polarity, just like the nodes are a polarity. And for me, all of these polarities are really, they're not about opposing anything. They're not about going to the extremes. For me, they're about maybe going to the extremes, but with the intention that we are ultimately coming back to the one. We're all coming not to wash away the qualities of any of it. It's about integrating it all as one together. So Libra and Aries are still Libra and Aries, but they can be in balance, harmony. They can be in relationship with each other in a way that complements each other and really, the sum of the parts is greater with the whole. Okay. This phrase that I'm trying to think of, essentially 1 + 1 = 3, right? Libra by itself is fine and Aries by itself is fine, but when you're able to integrate the two, you suddenly have a whole that is a dance that's more beautiful than Libra could be alone, and that Aries could be alone. Libra and Aries being able to dance together is it's our ultimate goal. Speaking for myself again, but I think that's true. I think that's part of what the cosmos is trying to help us do, is reintegrate into that wholeness. So we're not just Aries or just Libra. We're all of it. So the Libra end of it can be us losing ourselves in the other, can be us forgetting about Aries, forgetting that sacred yes and that sacred no. That's not cool. That's not what we want to do in Libra. In Libra, the gifts of Libra include many things, such as being able to be in relationship, being able to truly listen, being able to truly value both sides or all of the above, being able to have a gentleness that holds all, that's balancing everything, where there's harmony and the sense of oneness. But again, in the Libra, you don't want to just wash away the differences. You don't want to forget that you exist, typically. So when you bring in the Aries and that sacred yes and that sacred no, balanced with this peaceful, the potential of Libra, which is that gentle, peaceful way of relating. Wow. Like you can suddenly have this way of being in yourself, in your own life, and in relationship with another person and in the world, where the Aries energy can bring that knowing of the sacred yes, the sacred no, and the Libra can hold space for this gentleness of listening, of relating, of when the Aries energy is able to say, here's my yes, and here's my no. It doesn't need to be a fight. It doesn't need to be a war. It's just, then there's the Vesta holding the space of that sacred temple that is you, and that is that other person is, their own temple is holding them as that sacred being and sovereign being that they are. And then you can just simply be. And maybe your sacred yes and sacred no are different from the sacred yes and the sacred no of the person you're with, or whatever it is you're relating to. And if that happens to be true, then you can meet that, listen to it, really be with it in a way that is conducive to truly hearing, truly being with what is, and not feeling a need in your own inner temple, not necessarily feeling a need to then change your sacred yes and sacred no to accommodate the other person. Sometimes there might be a compromise that maybe you get a sacred yes to compromising. Great. And maybe you don't. But it's like similar to what I talked about with Virgo energy. You can have a relationship to this inner temple that is you, that allows the temple itself to take responsibility, to take over, and just hold that sovereign space for you, and to have it feel safe and gentle and okay, that whatever your true needs are, they just exist. And same with the other person. And then again, the Libra energy, this can all be held with grace and love and understanding and balance and harmony, even if the sacred yes and sacred no don't match. Easier said than done. I get it. Really, I get it. But that's the potential I feel in these energies, or one of the potentials. Yeah, and I've been getting really called to name it and talk about it. Yes, and there's so much more there with Chiron. I started reading Melanie Reinhardt's book on Chiron, and it's touching me so deeply. I've been watching a bazillion of her recent talks and her conversations with Heather Answorth and other ones she's done recently. And yeah, there's so much in the Chiron and the Centaur world, Chariklo and all of it. But in particular, Chiron is really calling to me right now, probably because of the current the current transit, and also Pluto happens to be squaring my own Chiron right now. So and the current conjunction of Pluto, of Chiron, Jupiter, Vesta, and Estrella is exactly opposite my own Pluto. So Chiron, Pluto dynamic is very on my mind on a personal level. But it's also incredibly relevant to the collective, and it will be coming up into next year, and there's lots more coming up with that. So yeah, okay. So for the Soul Wisdom Gathering that I'm holding this Wednesday, March 15th, if you happen to be listening to this before then, please join me. If you are a member of my membership, it's free for you. If you're not a member, you can join anyway. It's $30 if you just want to come to this one gathering. It's $22 a month if you want to join the membership and come for free. You can join the membership for 1 month at a time, 2 months, whatever you want to do. So definitely feel free to join us for that. If you're listening to this after March 15th, that recording will be available indefinitely. And again, it'll be a guided, channeled experience regarding these Chiron, Aries, Libra energies. And then I also want to mention next Friday, March 24th, and then that weekend, the 26th, 25th and 26th, I am hosting an online retreat, a 3-day online retreat, which is also going to be entirely recorded. You do not need to be there live. And this is a really special, really wonderful retreat that is perfect for the time we're in. I did not plan it this way, and it is uncanny how perfect this is. So it starts on March 24th. And like I mentioned before, March 23rd is the day that Pluto goes into Aquarius for the first time in 46 years or 200, long time. And one of the potentials that I really feel, I get told a lot in my own prayers, that's true, is one of the potentials in this time is that we have the potential to, be maybe bringing up a lot that needs to transform: past traumas, past karmic patterning, just letting go, because again, I'm speaking for myself here. I feel a really strong call for us to be coming into new ways of being that are the most helpful and the most conducive to what it is we're here to do on the planet here and now, moving forward. And again, speaking for myself, that is seeming to be that I need to let go of really, really deep past patterns. And it's profound. And that can feel gentle, and it can feel not gentle. And for everybody, it's different. But I definitely see the need, and I see the call. I'm getting called to hold a lot of space for us to be supported in various ways during that time. And so this retreat is one of those. So this is a group of 10 of us, 9 other women who are therapists, sound healer, therapeutic yoga instructor, who are all coming together to hold space for 3 days of being held, of having fun and relaxing. And there are going to be 4 workshops on the day 1 and 3 workshops on day 2 and 3. And each of the 10 of us is going to hold space for an hour to an hour and a half in our own unique ways, with our unique skills and to teach to lead you through different experiences that are healing and soothing, and then also to give tools for you to take away, like walk away from this retreat with various tools and various skills to help to support yourself, soothe yourself, and also to, if you happen to be in a healing role or a therapy role, to maybe use with your clients as well. So I'm really, 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 really happy to be holding this space with these women. They are each amazing. They each have decades of experience. And so collectively, it's just like it's called the Divine Peace Garden Retreat. And the reason I named it that is because I want it to feel like literally you walk onto this sacred piece of land, and there's a beautiful divine peace garden, and there's the 10 of us in a circle there to welcome you and support you and just allow you to receive, which I think so many of us are needing in this time. So there's more information in the link below. You can see more on my website as well. You can email me with any questions, and very important, there is a sliding scale option. So the full price is $375 for the whole 3 days, but the sliding scale has many, many options, goes down to $95 for the whole thing, which is very inexpensive given that there are 10 workshops. And I even actually added an option to do a payment plan of that, very low price. So we're trying to make it very, very, very accessible. So please do not hesitate to reach out if you have questions, if there's a way it can be accessible for you that would work the best for you. Yeah, be in touch. livingtheonelight@gmail.com. And I'd love to hear any of your thoughts. Whatever arises for you, I'd love to hear about it. I always love to hear from you. And that's it. Wonderful. I will see you soon.